I'd like to introduce our speaker today. Nick Adams was born in Australia. He received the rare extraordinary ability green card. He now heads the organization dedicated to promoting American exceptionalism worldwide and has appeared on The O'Reilly Factor, Sean Hannity, Glenn Beck, Fox and Friends, and hundreds of other radio and TV shows. Nick has been here since Tuesday, right? Tuesday, Alpine the day before. He now resides in Texas, so he has been to, came on Tuesday, talked to several of the schools, and I'd like to welcome Nick Adams. He is sporting the newest ML Letting hat. Welcome to Texas, Nick.
Thank you, Anna. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of St. Angelo. What an absolute treat this is to be able to speak to the Republican women of the Concho Valley. This is indeed a rare privilege. I want to thank some of the people that made it possible for me to be here with you this afternoon. I want to thank Anna Bartosh for her kind invitation and for making it possible for me to join all of you. I want to thank Kat Rowell, who has been my chauffeur, my videographer, and my surrogate mother while here in the great place that is St. Angelo. And what an honour and a pleasure it is to be in the land of the free and the home of the brave. In the world's exceptional nation, in civilization's indispensable country. And to top it all off, if all of that weren't enough, in the best state of them all, the great state of Texas. I have never been to a place where I have encountered more genuine hospitality or enthusiastic patriotism. But more than just loving the people, more than just loving the place, my message about American exceptionalism and American greatness has no greater or more fitting venue. Texas is the embodiment of American exceptionalism. Free, confident, successful, patriotic, family-oriented. There is no more model society anywhere here on God's green earth. I love Texas and Texans' merciless contempt for political correctness and their steadfast refusal to embrace the new morally debased and feminised world that we find ourselves occupants of. I love Bluebell ice cream, chicken fried steak, jacked up pickup trucks, Whataburger, glorious sunsets, and I could go on and on and on. But it is for all of those reasons, ladies and gentlemen, that I will never ever forget the 10th of July 2013, when my good friend, Governor Rick Perry, appointed me an honorary Texan. Thank you. There are only 27 of us alive. An honorary Texan, which is fantastic because, as all of you very well know, there are only two types of people in our world. Texans and those that wish they were. So now that I have indisputably and undoubtedly, beyond all possibility, established to you my Texan credentials, let me tell you a little bit more about who I am. As you can very clearly tell from my accent, I hail from South Texas. Deep South, Southern South Texas. I was born on September 5 of 1984 in Sydney, Australia. At the age of 16 months, I met my first adversity in life. And it was an adversity that would go on to have an enormous impact and shape my life. I was diagnosed with neuroblastoma, which is a very rare form of childhood cancer. Notoriously difficult to diagnose. When it is diagnosed, the tumour has almost always already spread. I was diagnosed with stage 4 neuroblastoma, and my mum and dad were told that I had just a 5% chance of life, that only 1 in 20 children with stage 4 neuroblastoma survive. For 3 years, I underwent chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and an operation. And through the healing hands of God, our master physician, I defied the odds, I survived, and I'm here to tell you about it. My parents had taken me to doctor after doctor, paediatrician after paediatrician, trying to find out what was wrong with me. On the 23rd of December 1985, with me more unsettled than usual, they took me to the local emergency ward of the local hospital, local children's hospital. And the ward was almost deserted, but there was one overnight doctor there. He was a young man with a smiling face. And he said, "Mr. and Mrs. Adams, look, I don't know for sure, but I think that this is what your child has, and you need to make sure that you get him in for tests first thing tomorrow morning." The very next day, my parents' worst fears would be confirmed. I had stage 4 neuroblastoma. If it was not for the diagnosis of that doctor, for the instincts, for the hunch of that doctor, I may well not be alive here with you this afternoon. The doctor was an American. So I haven't only studied American exceptionalism, I've lived it. In fact, I am alive because of it. Since that early adversity, I have been pretty much unstoppable. I was the valedictorian of my school. I was publicly elected to political office at the age of 19. Just 8 days after my 21st birthday, I became the youngest deputy mayor in Australian history in Sydney. I was a best-selling author before I turned the age of 30. Now, having just turned 32, I have spoken in more than half of the states in the United States of America, and I know there aren't 57. I'm a regular on Fox News. I've appeared on almost every single major television and radio program that there is in this country. I'm recognised worldwide as an authority on American greatness and American exceptionalism. In fact, I have decided to dedicate my life to promoting, strengthening, and defending the United States of America. Thank you. But because we're in Texas, and in Texas we always go one step further, we always do things just that little bit bigger, I'm going to top it off for you. On the 29th of July, 2016, after 4.5 long, torturous, arduous years, and almost $50,000, I finally legally immigrated to the United States of America. And yes, I chose to live in the only state. That gives me a very unique trifecta. I am Australian by birth, Texan by appointment, and American by choice. What do I believe in? I believe in God, the traditional family, personal responsibility. I believe that the best social program is a job. I believe that welfare should ideally be a community and church responsibility. I believe in the state of Israel, a strong national defence, the right to bear arms, free markets, limited government. I believe that taxes is just Texas misspelt. I believe in all of those things. But as much as I believe in all of those things, ladies and gentlemen, I believe in America. And I want you to know something tonight as you go home and you rest your heads on your pillows. I want you to know that this country may be wounded, it may be weary, it may be withering, led by a thoroughly vacuous and profoundly anti-American president. But it is still, even today, even right now, with all of the problems that besiege and beset it, it is still by far and away the greatest country in the history of the world. The day that anyone is born in the United States of America is the day that they won the lottery of life. This is the best country in the world to be born in. This is the best country in the world to live in. This is the best country in the world to start a business in. This is the best country in the world to work in. America is special because America is not just a country, not simply a stretch of land, not merely a geographic entity. It is an idea, it is an ideal, it is a notion, it is an improbable and daring experiment that remains just as improbable and daring today. It is the shot that was heard around the world and still is. There are 4 ways that a nation is said to be exceptional: culturally, militarily, economically, and scientifically. And in almost 5,000 years of recorded human history, we have never ever before seen a country, a people, or a culture like the American people, the American nation, or the American culture. And none of that is accidental. None of that just happened. It is the result of the deliberate vision of some of the greatest and most prescient men to have ever walked this earth, our founders. Amen. Our founders realised that the way to unleash human genius, the way to unravel human creativity, the way to inspire innovation was to ensure that citizens, men and women, were as unencumbered by red tape and government approval as possible. And that's why we have seen America do more for this world than any other country, any other people, or any other culture. What's good for America is good for the world. When America is strong, the world is strong. When America is weak, the world is a weak and infinitely dangerous place. That's not a Nick Adams hypothesis that I've scribbled on the back of a cocktail napkin after a few shine a box and some of Carlos's fried chicken. We're living that reality real time right now as we have the elites in our government, the elites in our media, and the elites in our education system that have deliberately diminished the United States of America in every possible way. And as a result, the world that we now inhabit is infinitely more dangerous and a place that we really don't want to live in. But here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, it could get even worse. It could get even worse. Contemplate for a fleeting moment what the world may look like with a fallen or absent America. North Korea would invade South Korea. Taiwan would be overrun by China. War, maybe nuclear, would break out in the Middle East, with Israel standing to be destroyed. Islamic terrorists would act with complete impunity. Tyrants in North Africa would run around even more mercilessly than what they already do. Russia would rebuild the Soviet Empire. Individual liberty would gradually diminish and ultimately become entirely extinct. The world would be covered in darkness. America is the glue to civilization. America is the glue to the way and the lifestyle that we have become accustomed to. And that's why it doesn't matter whether you are black, white, brown, yellow, pink, purple, or multicoloured. It doesn't matter what your sexual persuasion is. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter where you were born or what it is that you do for work. It is in the interest of every single person on this planet to stand up and to fight for America and to keep her as strong and as self-assertive and as confident and as powerful as we can possibly make it. Because that outcome is not only good for Americans, it's good for civilization, it's good for progress, and it is good for the world. Unfortunately, my friends of St. Angelo, political correctness is killing the United States of America.
Yep.
You see, most people think that political correctness is merely an imposition on speech. Simply something that allows you to say certain things and doesn't permit you to say others. Well, that would be bad enough, because that's contrary to the First Amendment and everything that America has always been about. But political correctness is infinitely more than that. Political correctness is a cultural attitude. It is a mindset. It is a way of life that says that you should strive for mediocrity and not greatness. That we should be a nation of butt kissers rather than butt kickers. Political correctness tells you that you shouldn't colour between the lines. Political correctness tells you to conform. Political correctness is a choking conformity and intellectual tyranny and ideological totalitarianism that is antithetical to the American promise, the American dream, the American hope. It strips us of our individualism. It eliminates our patriotism. It removes our self-confidence. It's turning the American dream into the European nightmare. And all of the things that have made America distinct in the world, all of the things that have made America different in this world are being eliminated by political correctness. America is complex, but American exceptionalism is simple. It's individualism, not collectivism. It's patriotism, not relativism. It's faith, not secularism. It's God, not government. Equality of opportunity, not equality of outcome. It's life, not death. It's about being bold, not being bland. These are the things that have always set America apart. Yet those with the politically correct leftist democratic agenda are trying to turn America just into another Belgium. Just another country. Just another seat at the world dining table of powers. They don't want America sitting at the head table. They don't have the worldview that we have. They want to deliberately pull America down as many notches, as many pegs as they possibly can. And we can't stand for it, ladies and gentlemen. We need to fight back against it. The agenda that America and Americans need to be pursuing, the country that I've joined, the agenda that I want that country to pursue, is one that will end the waste, pay back the debt, limit the government, axe political correctness, protect the borders, preserve Judeo-Christian traditions, end the culture of entitlement, cut taxes, exercise fidelity to the Constitution, keep the peace through unquestioned military advantage. They're the things that America needs to do. They're the things that we can do in order to preside over what is so sorely needed. A constitutional, patriotic, conservative renaissance, where we see citizenship revitalised, we see families strengthened, and we see America be able to once more reach her full potential. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so proud to be able to share with you a brand new organisation that I have started. It's called FLAG, the Foundation for Liberty and American Greatness. And it is the most exciting organisation in America right now. FLAG is not a think tank. FLAG is a battle tank. We fight on the front lines. We don't write research papers and sit behind desks. We actively go out there to try and change the media narrative and to try and change the culture. And do you know how we do it? We do it by using the tactics of the left back against them. FLAG makes the case for America, unapologetically, robustly, aggressively, and swiftly. Some of the biggest names in America are on my advisory board. I've got Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, Conservative radio titan Dennis Prager, Fox News' and the former CEO of Concerned Veterans for America, Pete Hegseth. We've got Dr. Ed Fulmer, the man that founded the Heritage Foundation and was the past president just up until a couple of years ago. We've got Dinesh D'Souza's executive producer of all three of his films, John Sullivan. I have assembled the greatest minds in America to come together and to make sure that we change the culture and we change the media narrative. Because we realise that while we can do great things at the ballot box, and we can go a long way to correcting a lot of the problems and the trajectory that America is on right now at the ballot box, the real change is going to come around kitchen tables and lounge rooms when real America is mobilised to the culture fight. Because we have been losing that culture fight and we have been losing it badly. FLAG is an educational, not-for-profit, non-partisan organisation. We go into as many elementary, middle and high schools as we possibly can. And we answer these questions for students. What makes America special? What makes America different? Why is the Constitution the best political document ever written? What would the world look like today had it not been for American leadership in the 20th century? What would the world look like in the future if there was no America? What all has the United States given the world? Why has America been an unparalleled force for good in this world? We seek to counter the army of anti-American activists masquerading as teachers that are deliberately painting America as a hateful and terrible place, that are intentionally raising a generation of Americans that are ambivalent to America, and if they're not ambivalent, then they hate the place. For the first time, ladies and gentlemen, our enemies are not only foreign, they are also domestic. And we need to do something about it. And that is why we are going into as many of these schools as we possibly can, reaching as many hearts and changing as many minds as we can. Since Monday, I have spoken at 12 different schools. Since Monday. In Alpine, 5 schools. Yesterday and today, 7 schools in St. Angelo. We are getting these kids to love their country again. We are getting them to believe in America. We are countering all of the nonsense that they are being fed about America being a racist place, and a bigoted place, and a misogynistic place, and an oppressor in world affairs. We are getting in there and we are fighting that with the truth. FLAG envisions a day where every single school child will receive what we are going to call a freedom bag. In that freedom bag will be a copy of the Constitution, a copy of the Declaration of Independence, a United States flag and a Holy Bible. They are the values, they are the documents that we want our children to be anchored to. And FLAG has already commissioned work to produce the world's first kid-friendly constitution. We want to get that into the hands of as many children as we possibly can. We're getting it translated into plain English, and we are commissioning an award-winning cartoonist to make it as relatable as we possibly can to these children. In addition to being an educational organisation, FLAG is about filling a vacuum. You see, ladies and gentlemen, our gallant men and women of the United States military have got our back everywhere. At home, abroad, in the air, on the land, at sea, heck, even in space. But who has America's back in the culture? Who has America's back in newsrooms? Who has America's back in classrooms? Well, up until now, there has been no organised force. FLAG is filling that vacuum. We have a cable news strike force team that we are going to field from MSNBC all the way through to Fox News. And we're going to make sure that on every single program, whenever America is under attack, we field a pro-American voice to be a part of that segment. Because I am sick to death of these guys playing unopposed. I am sick to death of them being able to propagandise and influence and shape. We need to make sure that we are turning up. Because if there is one piece of history that we can take from the American example, it is that you need to turn up to win. And it doesn't take many men to achieve incredible, remarkable, unbelievable things. And that's exactly what we want to do. Then we've got Flag Watch. Flag Watch is a really exciting project. So I can almost guarantee that every single person here is at least on one left-wing watch list. I'm sure that I'm on about half a dozen. I wear it as a badge of honour. The tactic of shaming is one that the left use to incredible effect and impact. We lose our jobs. We miss out on opportunities. They cause us problems in our own personal lives if we come out and we say something that they don't like. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have always operated under a very simple philosophy in life. If you can't make them see the light, make them feel the heat. And that is exactly what Flag is going to do. It's time for us to return the favour. So we are going to produce the world's first anti-American watch list. Here's how it's going to work. If you disrespect the flag, if you refuse to stand for the anthem, if you take a knee when the Pledge of Allegiance is happening, we get your name, we get your photograph, where you work, what you said, and why what you said was stupid, and we make sure through Google search optimization results that the very first thing that anybody finds out about you is that you hate America. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I can't promise you that we're going to stamp out anti-Americanism entirely, but I do give you this commitment. People are going to think 1,776 times before they open their mouth to libel and defame America. Can I tell you, if you came out and you said 1/16 of the things that are said about America, Americans and the American culture, about any other country, culture or people, you would be hauled over the hot coals of every single Human Rights Commission and Anti-Discrimination Tribunal you could poke a dirty stick at. But you come out and you libel, defame, castigate, mock, deride, traduce the United States of America and Americans, the culture treats you like you're a hero. It is a moral inversion on steroids. And it is disgraceful, it is outrageous, it is despicable, and it must end. And we are committed, Flag is committed to ending it by changing the culture and changing the media narrative, by showing up and by using the tactics of the left back against them. That's exactly what we've got to do, and we've got to do it now, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll tell you why. In July, America turned 240 years old. It was a time for great celebration. I hope you had at least 3 chicken fried steaks. Lots of Shiner box and all of the good stuff. But I also believe it should have been a time, and is a time, for sober and sombre reflection. Because if you go and ask any historian worth their salt how long great superpowers tend to last, they will tell you somewhere between 230 and 250 years. That, my friends, I must tell you with regret rich in my voice, that puts America right in the kill zone. And it is going to take a patriotic effort unparalleled in history to right this ship, to turn this country around. We are going to need to summon every ounce of patriotism, every seed of passion from the bottom of our souls to the tops of our heads, if we are to do this. Because for the first time, as I said earlier, America's enemies aren't only foreign, they are domestic, they are here, and they take the form of the elites in government, media and education, and all of those cultural mainstream institutions that are deliberately seeking to diminish the United States of America. We have a huge fight ahead of us. But I believe in America. Alexis de Tocqueville, the famous French philosopher who came out here in the 18th century, he said that the true genius of America and Americans lay in their ability to repair their faults. My political hero and the greatest figure of the 20th century, the great wartime Prime Minister Sir Winston Churchill, affectionately jibed that America always does the right thing after exhausting every other option. And now I stand before you and tell you that as an outsider, I also observe a boomerang spirit. I also observe an uncanny resilience and an uncanny capacity to recorrect a trajectory. I've come to America at a time when everyone else has written it off. Everyone says that America's best days are behind her. Everyone says that it's all over for the United States of America. I don't believe that for a single second. I believe that America's best days lay ahead of her. And I believe that this country is going to emerge bigger and stronger and better than it ever has before. But it is going to require a patriotic effort from ordinary, regular, everyday, hard-working people whose voices have been lost and who now form what I still think is a silent majority. We need to give those people their voice back. We need to make sure that we do everything in our power to crush political correctness, to smash the left, and to lift up what is a providential nation and what is the best idea and the best value set that humanity has ever had. Thank you, Concho Valley Republican women. God bless you, God bless Texas, and God bless the United States of America. Let's go out there and kick some anti-American butt. All right. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go and sit on that little table over there. I have brought both of my best-selling books. The first one is The American Boomerang, How the World's Greatest Turnaround Nation Will Do It Again, with a foreword by Lieutenant Colonel Alan West. Then we have Retaking America, Crushing Political Correctness, with a foreword by Dennis Prager. Those books are either $30 each or 2 for $50. I'm happy to personalise and sign them in any way that you'd like me to. But even more so than the books, if I can please make this ask for you all to consider giving to FLAG. We are a non-profit. We are 100% tax deductible. Anything that you can possibly give us at this time would be enormously appreciated. It would be an investment in America's future, and we'll get you a receipt out so that you can use it as a tax write-off. But please, ladies and gentlemen, if you could consider that, the website is flagusa.org. Thank you so much, and I'll see you over there.